You are welcome to another episode of The Daily Shift with Abel Bernard.
We didn't do anything wrong, but somehow we lost. Those were the last words of Nokia CEO as the empire collapsed. Once upon a time, Nokia ruled the world. They weren't just a brand, they were the brand. Half of every phone sold on earth had that blue logo. Who did not use a Nokia phone? They owned more than 50% of the global mobile market. They had the best engineers. They had the biggest research budget. They had the boldest dream. They were untouchable. They were unbreakable. Who would go into manufacturing a phone without thinking of how they could get a market share from Nokia? But you see, in 2007, Steve Jobs walked on stage in his black turtleneck and jeans and changed the world with one sentence. You know what he said? He said, today, Apple is going to reinvent the phone. Touchscreens, no buttons, full internet, one device that combines your music, your messages, your life. And when he unveiled it, the world gasped. But Nokia executive laughed. You know why? They were laughing. They said, people want real keys. Our phones are tougher. Our market share is too big to fail. We are the biggest investors. We are the biggest partners. Look at the stocks. Look at what he's saying. But what they did not know was that the future had just walked past them right before their eyes with all their research and development. Because Apple did not just build a phone, they built a platform, a digital ecosystem where every app, every update, every developer could connect. Meanwhile, Nokia's old system, Symbian, was clunky, slow, and complicated. The engineers kept warning, this thing is dying, but the management did not listen. Changing it for them at that time meant slowing down production, and slowing down meant risking sales. So they said, let's maintain what is working. You see, sometimes what is working is exactly what is killing you slowly. What is working sometimes, not all the time, is exactly what is killing you slowly. Because in Matthew chapter 9 verse 17, Jesus Christ said this clearly. No one pours new wine into old wine skins. The wine skins will burst and both will be lost. Maybe on another episode or one time I will tell you more about this verse. Because you see, by 2010, not just Apple now, Android have stepped in. The Apple bought their own operating software. The Android had stepped in by Google. Google gave every manufacturer a free, powerful operating system. Samsung jumped on it, HTC jumped on it. Even smaller brands started making smartphones that could do what Nokia could not do. But you know what? Nokia still stays stuck. That was another opportunity for them to change their system. To change putting that new wine into old skin. But they refused. They ignored what was becoming obsolete. They thought the world owed them their loyalty. But suddenly, eventually it dawned on them. In 2011, the spiritual started setting in. They now abandoned their almighty Symbian. That old wine, that Symbian that they would not have left. They left it eventually in 2011 and bet everything on Microsoft Windows Phone. That was a bold decision. Very bold, but it was too late. The world had moved on. Developers have left. Customers have left. Partners have left. They've lost their market shares from 50 to 25 to 3. Because at that time, Nokia that once ruled the world, later sold themselves, their company for $7 billion. Company that was 6 years earlier was worth $300 billion. In 2006, is now worth $3 billion. No, $7 billion, from 300 to 7. Man, that was not a decline. That was a catastrophic implosion. And that's when the CEO stood and before the world and said, we didn't do anything wrong, but somehow we lost. But that's not true. They did something wrong. They stopped learning. They stopped listening. They stopped adapting. They allowed the fear of failure become bigger than a hunger for change. Ecclesiastes 10:10 says, if the axe is dull and the edge is unsharpened, more strength is needed because skill will bring success. So another problem was not lack of money. They had money. It was lack of humility. They didn't fail because of Apple. They didn't fail because of Google. They failed because they refused to sharpen their axe. You see how people complain and blame everybody for their failure? Oh, the environment is not conducive. The economic environment atmosphere is not conducive. Oh, I wish I had this opportunity. I wish Apple did not come. I wish Google did not come with the Android. We would have remained. You would have remained. You should be evolving. You should be evolving. That's what kills many leaders. That's what kills many businesses today. That's what kills many persons. When sources blind you to warning signs. We heard about Titanic. The world is littered with stories of people that ignored warning signs, that were too confident in their success. He that thinketh is stand, watch lest you fall. He that thinketh I'm rich, I have acquired wealth. Like Revelation 3:17. Jessica was telling each other, you say I'm rich, I have acquired wealth, I do not need anything. But they do not realize that they are wretched, pitiful, poor, blind, and naked. That's a catastrophic description. That's the irony. Because sometimes you don't need to, you don't need to wait for call-outs before you change. You see, Nokia later changed. Yeah, they later changed. They later shifted into 5G, but it was too late. The world had moved. They had become smaller now. Yet wiser, but smaller and stronger in another field. What is that thing that you've refused to change because it still works? What are you holding on to that God has been saying, let go, let it go? I'm doing a new thing. Behold, I'm doing a new thing. Stop looking at the past, let it go. I want to give you a new one, and I want you to change your skin. Change your mental capacity. Change that mindset that this is what is working. Let it go. I want to give you something new. Because you can't pour new wine into old systems. You can't walk into tomorrow carrying yesterday's pride. It doesn't work. So here's the shift. In life, in business, comfort kills innovation and ego kills empire. So if you are winning and you stop evolving, you're already losing because it's a race. Don't let it is working stop you from how can I make it work more? Because it is working can become your coffin. So stay humble, stay teachable, and stay shifting. Bye.
Thanks for shifting with me today on the Daily Shift. If this sparked something in you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it and make sure to join me tomorrow as we keep flipping tables and reintroducing Jesus in a way that makes sense. Until then, stay shifting.